Not confident with the Black Eyes matchup.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the One Piece Store Regional for Illustrious Cards and Games. I am Jeremy Jallin here with Joe Brown, and we have a good round 5 for y'all. It's going to be undefeateds for the last 2 rounds, and that means one of these people could be the winner. And we got, what, Lucci up against Lucci?
It sure looks like it. Looks like it'll be our what would that be? We've had 3 set 7 Lucci's plus the set 3. So this is our 5th and 6th Lucci's of the day, I think, if I'm counting wrong. It might have been 7th. I mean, I don't even remember at this point. But going into this tournament, because I've been going to the locals every week, Jeremy, and people have been preparing some of our friends that got into the store regional that are from the local scene. And going into it, Lucci was the deck that everyone's been preparing for. I know the online, it feels like Law is the big conversation starter about this format and future formats and stuff. But I think a lot of people really respect the power that Lucci has, essentially because it's kind of just Sakazuki without the blue cards. So everyone knows how strong Sakazuki was. So I think it's no surprise that we have seen so much set 7 Lucci here today.
Yeah, people just try to play what they know, and a lot of people played Sakazuki, so might as well use a lot of the same cards to play in Rob Lucci, but definitely has a lot of different lines of play thanks to those CP0s, CP9 cards, and starting off with a Spandam, getting a 2K off the top there. I think, wow, 3 2Ks were discarded, or 3 total.
Yeah, that's at least you get your turn 1 Spandam, right? You get 2 cards, and then next turn you can swing with your Lucci to get up to 4 in the discard. Even if you counter out of Ridge's attack, you can go to 5. So in this matchup, you can very quickly get to the 10 discard cards in your trash that are required to activate Tempest Kick. 2 swings, actually, swinging with Lucci and then attaching 3 from the Spandam as well, trying to get cards out of Ridge's hand.
Yeah, and the Rob Lucci attack milled that Spandine, which if I believe correctly, it's Spandam's dad.
Yeah,
But
I'm
that's
only through the Alabasta arc, Jeremy. So
oh,
you're on
okay,
your own
okay.
here. Yeah.
But it's just a powerful card where it allows you to play an extra 4 cost CP card from your trash, and so you just have a lot of power having that available with a later on Gecko Moria.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the one thing that Lucci does very well is gets a lot of it gets bodies on the board from the trash, right? That's the thing that it's so good at. So even seeing all those 2Ks that Kesu had to get rid of on this first turn, it's not the end of the world because they can always come back with either Spandine or Rebecca or Gecko Moria. There's so many ways that in this matchup expect to see a revolving door of characters coming back, from the trash back onto the field from both of these 2 players.
Now a mill there did mill a Gecko Moria along with a Rob Lucci, so you at least, if you're Ridge, know that your opponent is 1 Moria down. We'll have to see what they could do with 5 for the turn. Does seem like Ridge did take that, and then there's a Kaku to KO the Brook that KO'd the Spandam. It's really just a KO party here when you're having a Rob Lucci mirror match.
Yeah, putting 2 CP characters back from the trash into the bottom of your deck. So now Kesu is down to 5 cards in the trash. Going to need to try to build that up, and it's a delicate balance, right? You don't want to just trash cards for the sake of trashing it to get to 10 to activate the Tempest Kick, because you don't always necessarily need Tempest Kick immediately on that turn. So deciding that, okay, I can wait maybe 2 more turns to get to 10 if it allows my Kaku to KO the Brook on the other side, not giving the free Don minus and the potential swing from Ridge. On the other hand, it's like, I'll get some value now by KOing a card, and then I can wait till later to get to 10 for Tempest Kick.
Yeah, and honestly, with this deck in general, you're not going to be doing too many fancy plays until you get to that 8 Dawn, that 9 Dawn, that 10 Dawn turns. So here we just have a 5 cost blocker Sabo, able to filter the hand a little bit, maybe stack the discard for Ridge.
Try to put maybe a Helmeppo in the trash if you have it. Now it looks like it's a Lucci and a Kaku, which are two characters that Rebecca can get out of the trash depending on the context that you would need them if you have the Don available as well. So Ridge giving themselves multiple options on, which turns that they want to bring back a character to KO something on the board.
All right, now back on to Keisu here. Attaches the Dawn to the Kaku. We're going to have a swing. It's going to force a couple cards from Ridge's hand here if he wants to prevent the life.
Could either be a 2K or you could tap, as I was just about to say, tap Sabo and block with another card. This does essentially get a double block from your Sabo, your blocker character, because then the Lucci leader goes into that slot as well. So it might cost you a lot of cards in hand, but you're effectively getting a lot of value out of your blocker.
Yeah, and Keisu has 4 Dawn remaining, so you have to think of what possibilities of if you do discard a card to save this Sabo, what they can do. But now that opens up just a free draw here to filter some more cards, and with this Khalifa, and yeah, it's looking like Keisu's doing what he wants to do.
Casey's got costs of every kind. It looks like in the trash right now. You got your Suru there. You got a Spandon. You got a Gecko. 4 cost Rebecca and Rob Lucci. There's a Sabo as well. It's just like having those cards laid out helps us as the broadcasters, right? Seeing
Oh yeah,
what he has available, so appreciate it. But also lets them know what they have available every turn. Since Rebecca can get back a 3 to 7 cost from the trash, and then Spandine can let you play a 4 cost CP or less. It just lets you know what your options are every turn to get back from the trash.
well, Keisu has 8 cards in hand. Ridge is gonna be thinking over their turn here, taking a look at the trash, get kind of an opinion of what you want to play off this Gecko Moria that's most likely coming down.
There's a lot of cards in there. I didn't see a helmet. I mean, I know that there's multiple Luccis in Ridge's trash. You do have a Su, or you maybe have a Suru or something to have a Don minus and then play a KO with the Lucci's probably. Oh,
Ooh,
the back to back 8 costs Sabo and Gecko being milled off the top.
it is never a good feeling when that happens, but at least you gotta hope you already have some in hand. We see the stage here, and he's lobby gonna put that Kaku down to 2. And then Helmeppo put that Khalifa down to 1, and we're gonna have a Rob Lucci to clear both characters.
Well, you don't need a Sabo
Yeah.
if you can pull off the Ennies lobby there. So really good play from Ridge clearing Keisu's board. I think they're at looking at 6, 8. They are at 12 cards in the trash now for Keisu, so should have Tempest Kick activated and online going forward. But I do think that Sabo is really important. The 8 cost, I should say. Obviously, the 5 cost blocker can stop you from getting KO'd, but the 8 cost Sabo from the new set is very important in this matchup because not only can you lower costs to get things a card under 3 and a card under 5, which is Sabo trash card from your hand, KO a 3 cost or less and a 5 cost or less. But also a lot of the Rob Lucci cards naturally are in that range, right? You think about the Brook and Rebecca and Lucci and Sabo and Kaku and Khalifa. There's a lot of characters that are naturally in that range. So now Ridge really doesn't have access to KOing 2 characters at the same time with that card.
Well, there is a Gecko Moria play for Keisu themselves. So gonna grab what looks like a Rebecca and a Spandam here. Just try to get the board filled up, get a little more hand advantage. There's double Tempest Kick Stussy milled off the Spandam. So at least Tempest Kick goes to the hand. There is a 2K for the hand, and then that Spandine. Spandine's going to allow Kesu to play
Get a
a
Lucci
4
match.
cost. Yep, get a Lucci, and we're going to have a KO on both. Both of those put to 1. And wow, what a turn yet again. Just a quick back and forth every time.
Yeah, if anyone watched the World Championship stream during set 5 and became familiar with the RHL strategy of the Rebecca Hina Lucci every single turn, now you can do Gecko, Rebecca, Spandine, Lucci all on the same turn. It was a little more elongated, a little more roundabout way to get to the same result, but yeah, that's one of the huge reasons. You only play a couple of Spandine in the deck because you don't need it. You don't need a lot because you can always get them back. One, as the card Rebecca gets back, the 3 to 7 cost that you get back from the trash, and you can immediately play it on the secondary effect of Rebecca. So you don't need too many copies of it for it to still have really strong value.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, that was a 20 Dawn turn play just with that one Gecko Moria. Insane. Just completely empty board to now it's full. Granted, you know, the Spandam and Spandine aren't really going to be attacking too much, but just having those bodies in play is very important in a matchup where you're just removing them back and forth.
Yeah, absolutely. And every little body can count at this point, right? Because as long as Ridge is taking his turns to try to, put all his Don minus onto the Gecko or something like that, that allows your Spandine just give it a couple Don, swing for 5. Give your Spandam 3 Don to swing for 5. Lucci's already swinging at 6. If you can get a lot of small bodies, that's a way to beat Black as well, because it's even if Ridge has a lot of cards in hand, it's not necessarily likely that all of those cards have counter on it. Sometimes Black players kind of live on the edge. They live dangerously the ratio of counter cards to non-counter that they play.
Well, that's a big mill for Ridge there. Mills his own Spandine. So I do think there is a Gecko Moria in the hand, and you can maybe get a big 20 Dawn turn play himself.
There is the Gecko Moria is down to 5 costs. There is the Gecko. And so Helmeppo Lucci would be able to KO Gecko and Spandam, and that's the play.
Hey, still an amazing play, getting rid of the big threat that was that Gecko Moria. Not going to be able to deal with the Lucci just yet, but still sitting pretty good. Not much of a threat on Keisu's board just yet.
And you can on Keisu's turn when they reset everything here, you can use Spandine to try to KO Helmeppo if you want, since they're both such low powered characters. You don't want to. It always stinks when you waste a Lucci leader or the 6 cost or the 4 cost, excuse me, the 4/6 Lucci into a low powered character on the other side. So at least you can get some value out of Spandine on this turn without necessarily investing too much Don onto it.
Now it seems like both players kind of have. Oh no, Ridge's hand is looking a little low. Keisu definitely has the advantage there. Just if he's able to chain together some big drops here in Moria, Sabo, Stussy. Gonna start things off with the Tempest Kick, though. It's gonna put that Gecko Moria down to 5. You have the attack to put it down to 4. Do we see another Tempest Kick, maybe Gecko?
Just is there a way you can try to KO Gecko and Lucci on the same turn? I don't know if you have enough Don to make that possible, especially without Annie's lobby. Maybe if that stage was available, he can make it work. But
I mean, if this is another Tempest Kick, okay, no, it's just the Spandam.
Yeah, you're looking for the kick here. Oh, you can. Oh no, Annie's lobby is not. It's world government, Jeremy. Not. Not. I know they're friends with CP or whatever, but they're not the same. Not the same category.
Stupid government ruining things for the common
The common
special
bad
agent.
guys. The
Yeah, common special agent. You know.
Yeah.
Minus.
Oh, we're actually gonna see the Lucci into the Helmeppo here, or no, minusing the Helmeppo. You're gonna have the 5 go to life. Yeah.
And now you need one more card to get Gecko down if that's the Helmeppo or not. Helmeppo will cost you 2. You would still have enough to play a Lucci out of your hand to KO Helmeppo and Moria if that's the option.
Yeah, we're just gonna play Moria here, get that Helmeppo Lucci, it seems like. Might have to go the old way of Rebecca.
Oh, then you're gonna have to play so that Helmeppo puts another -3 onto Moria, makes it a 2 cost. Replace Helmeppo with Spandine, and then Spandine gets the Lucci back. So, like we said, a convoluted route, not as simple as Sakazuki used to be able to do it, but just as satisfying nonetheless when you can pull it off.
Yeah, Spandine really does just open up these big Gecko Moria plays into your opponent's board, no matter how big it seems. And now almost stabilizing here with double Lucci, double Rebecca, and a Gecko.
And a higher card count or hand,
Yeah.
higher hand.
And Ridge has about 4 or 5 cards to play with here. And it's not looking too good. There's already 2 Geckos, at least one in the discard and one on the bottom of the deck.
I guess the question you can have for Ridge is what would you value as he's looking through his trash there, getting rid of this turn. You don't have a lot of cards in hand. You have 2 life compared to your opponent's 3. Would you prefer to KO the Rebecca's as Rebecca cannot find itself from the trash? That's the one card Rebecca can't get back. Or are you trying to get rid of the attacks that are coming your way next turn? You currently have no blockers on the field, and it's not like Keisu's going to attach 5 Dons so that Rebecca's can swing. So I think it's a difficult call. Do you try to get rid of the threats, or do you get rid of the blockers?
I think even if you try to go to get rid of the threats, you're gonna just end up eating some of the blockers anyway. Because you have a couple of attacks, but it's gonna take a lot of resources to try to break through this wall that Keisu's built.
Keisu's with the dice showing us they have 6 cards in hand, so would just require a 1K to get out of it, but instead gonna trash the Rebecca and keep 6 cards in hand.
Why not? You just play another Gecko Moria next turn. You'll be fine.
Right?
Gonna go 7 into a Lucci. Ridge sensing maybe that there isn't a lot of counter power in hand, and yeah, just like I was saying, those Rebeccas go into the discard by way of trying to get rid of those Luccis.
Right, now you have 8 Don available. Everybody knows when you have 8 Don as black deck, you're expecting a Gecko Moria to come out, especially when you meticulously played 1 for a 6K, 1 for a 6K. You gotta make sure you keep that 8 Don. Gecko can get back Helmeppo Lucci like we always talk about. Ennis Lobby also bringing down 1 Lucci to a 2 cost, so now that Helmeppo can -3 the other Lucci, and you can KO both at once. There's a Gecko.
All right, well, Ridge has seen through 3 Gecko Moria now, and the second one played is going to help him try to get rid of Keisu's board that really just each turn this Gecko is going to swap boards with the other opposing Gecko Moria.
Yeah, got rid of 4 characters on that turn.
Yeah. You got a couple of threats still. Just, do you have enough cards? And that's the real issue. The game, especially this mirror match, just goes so long because both of you are trying to play for these late game scenarios where you're just plussing so many cards. We might actually see the bottom deck stuff.
Right, and every time you KO your opponent's characters, they just come back. I think that's the same Helmeppo that's been on the board 3 times from the 3 Gecko Morias that Ridge has played. So it's not even like quote unquote dealing with your opponent's pressure and their board. Like they can just bring it right back from the trash. So it looks like he's swinging 6 into Lucci and -1 onto Helmeppo.
Ooh, that's big there. Rich not wanting to get rid of a card in hand to save that Lucci. And going to be taking a life off this Gecko Moria. It's looking a little bit scary, but it really just depends if you have another top end. Meanwhile, Kesu plays this Rebecca, grabs back the Sabo, is going to play down a Brook to get rid of the Helmeppo, and then play the Sabo. Now all these characters have protection for the next turn. And it's looking pretty good for Kesu here. You have the life advantage, the board advantage, and the hand advantage.
And you might as well just get rid of the E show you're not going to need at this late stage anymore. Try to keep as much counter in your hand for Kesu since you have the hand size advantage. 2 blockers on your end, and they're protected from KOs means that Ridge is not able to to just clear 4 characters at once like he was last turn, since thanks to the Sabo. So now 5 cards in hand on Kesu's end, 3 life compared to 1 life as well. Looking real dire for Ridge on this turn.
Yeah, I think all you can really do is just try to go after the tapped characters on Kesu's side of the things. But again, these characters have been free for the most part. Starting things off with a Spandam. Has a Tempest Kick there, also has a 2K.
Yeah, that's a tough call because the Tempest Kick could draw you something else if you're looking for it, but the Khalifa gives you inherent value in the 2K in hand, since you know your opponent's going to be swinging heavy the next turn.
It all really depends on what Ridge has to play.
You also have to wonder what blockers Ridge has available, because he could take that Tempest Kick. You can't KO anything, but it draws you a card. It could draw you a blocker or something. It looks like he drew Rebecca off the top.
I think so. And that was one of the best draws right now, I
Yeah,
believe.
he drew Rebecca off the top.
You can at least try to stabilize a board a little bit with that Rebecca and still have some Dawn left over to maybe throw some threatening swings into that Brook and that Gecko Moria.
But it's almost like whatever swing you throw into the geckos just can get blocked by Rebecca.
Oh yeah. But you just need you need to clear characters one way or another.
Right.
You're not really going to be swinging face this turn.
Ridge has 8 Dawn available. 4 of it would be on Rebecca, so you can kind of think of him having only 4 Dawn available right now.
Basically thinking about discarding 2 cards to get out of this Rob Lucci attack. That means no 2Ks in hand, or at least trying to signal that there might not be.
Or 2 and a 1, yeah, 6 into 4.
Oh,
so
yeah.
He counters 7. Interesting to keep the Brook on board even when attacking. Even if you whiff, 4K swing into the leader, you still get the -1, which could be crucial. So that might be what Casey's trying to keep it on the board for, to gain additional or cost minus.
Still 8 Dawn to play with 4 Ridge here. Time's ticking down too. A lot of these players, or both these players, have been doing a lot of plays on each of the turns, and you have to sequence everything perfectly.
Yeah, we haven't had a match go to time yet on stream today, so we haven't had to deal with the overtime rules yet. But we are, around 7 minutes remaining here.
Looks like a clear Gecko swing into the Brook. That's going to eat the Rebecca. Now, do we see a big 8 drop from Ridge this turn or not?
3 cards in hand for Kesu as well. So they had the big card advantage, but by getting rid of 2 cards to save the Brook and playing out the other characters, has lost that hand size advantage. I think you probably have to. You could swing 9 into a hit, or it looks like he's swinging 8. Looks like he put 3 on there, and then you probably have to keep 4 Dawn available for a blocker of some kind. Could be Sabo, could be Rebecca, could be Borsellino.
Well, Sabo with the 2K and the other discard. I couldn't even tell if it was a 2K or not, but uh, more than enough to block that attack. Now we got the 4 for the Rebecca. Again, not able to KO anything because of the Sabo effect from KC last turn, but can at least try to stabilize a little bit of a board here with that Spandine.
Now you're gonna put back a bunch of cards here. What do you get on this turn? Do you get a 2K, or do you try to put a Lucci back just so you have stronger characters on the board?
Fine.
Yeah, I think the top card kind of got revealed a little bit, but wow, is it a good top card? It's a Gecko Moria, but I'm gonna be drawn into it anyway. That Khalifa replaces the Spandine.
Drawing 2 cards here helps you filter your hand as well.
Oh, get rid of those
Oh
stages.
wow, that's huge. Before you had 2 dead cards in his hand as Kesu was going to go for game. Now you just gained 2 potentially valuable cards.
Who needs a Sabo, right?
When you have Spandine, Khalifa.
Yeah. All right, Kesu has a route to kind of clear the board here. Swing in 7 into Lucci, it seems, and then 7 into life.
It did appear like he was going into the Lucci, but you probably wouldn't minus the card you're swinging into if you're trying to KO it.
Yeah, it looks like in the life.
I think Ridge has 6 cards in hand.
All right, we're getting frisky.
That's
Brooke,
7 at life.
7K into life. That eats the Rebecca. And we're going to go all in on this Gecko, and there is no counter in that hand for Ridge. And Kesu going to 5-0 here, trying to take down this Store Regionals with Rob Lucci.